Let's use the equal marginal rule to try to figure out what happens to the quantity of a good or service when there is a decrease in the price of that good or service. Again, let's look at our example where we're choosing between movies and books. And we have a budget that says we can spend $27 total between movies and books. Under the original prices, where we had a price of renting movies of $3 and a price of books equal to $1, we saw that we maximized our utility when we spent $18 on movies. That is 6 movies at a price of $3. And we spent $9 on books, where we've got 9 books at a price of $1. Now what happens when the price of movies falls? The price of movies was $3. Suppose it falls to $2. If we continue buying 6 movies at a price of $2, our marginal utility per dollar for movies is now 18 compared to the 12 marginal utility per dollar for books. The equal marginal rule is now violated, and we're going to change our consumption pattern. And let's see how this happens. We're going to differentiate between 2 effects of a change in the price, a substitution effect and an income effect. Let's look at the substitution effect first. The substitution effect says that as the price of a good changes, the relative price of that good has also changed, and you substitute towards what became a cheaper good. We saw the price of movies going down. The price of movies goes down to $2. It becomes relatively cheaper than it used to be. Substitution effect says you're going to substitute towards consuming more movies and away from books because books became relatively more expensive. In order to see this, we need to do a thought experiment. This thought experiment is going to separate the substitution effect from the income effect. Now, the income effect is the change in the quantity consumed when your income changes. Now, what's happening is our real income is actually changing. Because the prices have gone down, we can afford to buy more with the same budget and the same income. So let's get rid of the income effect. Remember, our budget was originally $27. And when our budget was $27, we could afford to buy 6 movies and 9 books. Well, our movies got cheaper. The movies got cheaper by $1 each. So now our $27 is going to go farther. That's the income effect. Let's get rid of the income effect in this thought experiment. To do that, we're going to lower our income. So we were buying 6 movies, and they got $1 cheaper. So let's take $6 out of our income. Right? So let's suppose our income is now $21. If our income is $21, how much are we going to buy? We used to be buying 6 movies and 9 books. And now we saw that our marginal utility per dollar were not equalized. It was 12 for books and 18 for movies. So we're going to move towards buying more movies. If we go from point C to point S, we're getting 8 movies at a price of $2 each. That's $16 worth of movies. And that leaves us $5 to buy books, which would get us 5 books, and that would give us a marginal utility per dollar of 16 for books and 16 for movies. So even if our income didn't change, and here we're doing our thought experiment, so we lower our budget from $27 down to $21, we would change from consuming 6 movies and 9 books to consuming 8 movies and 5 books at points S and T, and our marginal utility per dollar for each good would be 16 utils per dollar. That's the substitution effect. We consume more movies because they become relatively cheaper. We consume fewer books because they became relatively more expensive. But in fact, we did see our income rise. Our income didn't drop down to $21. We still have $27 to spend. So when you get richer, or when you have more money, you buy more of every good and service. So instead of buying at the point S with 8 movies, we would buy at point D with 10 movies and point E with 7 books. That's how much we would buy if we had $27 at our new prices of $2 and $1. And again, we can see we would be getting 14 utils per dollar from movies, 14 utils of dollars from books, and we'd be spending all $27. So the substitution effect for movies was point C to point S. That's where how much more movies we would buy, even if our income didn't change. The income effect is how much more we buy because we became relatively more rich, because prices went down. So the overall change is going to be from point C to D. We will increase the quantity of movies purchased from 6 to 10 when the price goes down, and that's the law of demand. We see that on our demand curve. When the price goes from $3 down to $2, we increase the quantity demanded by moving along our demand curve from 6 movies to 10 movies.